everyone! Today I'm going to be sharing with you my most anticipated new releases for 2020. This is another one of those videos that I meant to film and post at the beginning of the year, but I'm only getting around to doing it now, so hopefully you all don't mind and are still interested in hearing all of my most anticipated book releases for the year. I'm sure there are probably more that'll be coming out a bit later in the year that haven't been announced yet, so this is going to be mostly from the beginning of the year until June, and then I do have one September release. Overall, I think there's only about 8 books, so it should be pretty quick to go through. And since I am filming it so late, 2 of the books have actually already come out, so I'm just going to go over those ones quickly. If I'm looking down, it's because I'm reading them off of my phone. So starting off with the first one is Straight On Till Morning by Liz Braswell. This came out on February 15th, and this is the, I don't even know what book in the series they're on now, for the Twisted Tales series. It's a series I talk about a lot on my channel because I really love it. It's basically a series of companion novels that each one follows a different Disney movie, but there's some kind of twist in it. So in this one, I think Wendy goes to Neverland with Captain Hook instead of Peter Pan, and I think she has to like team up with Tinkerbell, and it just sounds amazing. Although I'm always kind of nervous with these ones because these are like my favorite characters that these authors are dealing with, and they can either do them really well or not so well. So I either love these books or I really don't like them. So I'm really hoping this will be one that I really love. And then the second one that already came out was Moment of Truth by Casey West. This came out on March 3rd. As you guys know, I love Casey West and I have read every single one of her published works except for this new one, so I definitely have to get my hands on it soon. And I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea what this book is about. At this point, I've stopped reading the synopsis of her stories because I know I'm just going to pick them up either way. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to read this one. Next on my list we have So This Is Love by Elizabeth Lim. This comes out April 7th, and this is the next book in the Twisted Tales series, and this one obviously is following Cinderella. This is another one I can't really remember what it was about, but I think the twist in this one is that she doesn't try on the shoe, but I think she ends up getting like a job or something in the castle, and then she finds out about like this plot to, I don't know, get rid of the king and the prince or something, and she's like in the middle of it. Either way, I'm really excited to read these books. I really hope I love this one because I really love Cinderella. Next on my list is the Betrothed by Kiera Cass. This comes out on May 5th. I was such a big fan of the Selection series and The Siren, also by Kiera Cass, and so I have been waiting so many years for her to come out with another book, and now she is. Once again, I can't really remember what it's about, but I think it's about a girl who's already kind of, I don't know if she's like a princess, but I think she's already kind of like of nobility, and then some king from another kingdom ends up coming over and falling in love with her. Regardless of what it's about, I'm still going to read it because I just love this selection. The next one on my list also comes out on May 5th, and this is Chasing Lucky by Jen Bennett. Once again, I don't know what this book is about. I'm sure I probably read the synopsis at one point in time, but I always forget about them and then I never read them again, honestly. I read a synopsis once and I never read it again. I prefer to just go into my books blind, if you couldn't tell, but I read Alice Approximately by Jen Bennett and I really enjoyed that one, and then I purchased her other 2 books that I still haven't read yet, but every time she comes out with a new book, the synopsis of it immediately intrigues me, and because I loved Alice Approximately, I just immediately add it to my to-be-read list, and then I bought them and I still haven't read them. So I have to read those, and then I plan on reading this new one, and hopefully I love all of them as much as I loved Alice Approximately. The next one on my list is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This comes out on May 19th. This is the prequel to The Hunger Games, which kind of like the Selection. I read The Hunger Games, absolutely loved it. I actually read it twice, and I've been waiting years and years for this author to put out another book, and finally she is. And I don't know if this is the first of a series or if this is just going to be a standalone prequel book, but I know it's apparently a President Snow origin story, which some people aren't very happy about. I do love a good villain origin story. I don't really love President Snow as a villain though, so I don't know how much I'm gonna love this, but hopefully I will because I just love The Hunger Games so much. Next on my list we have Home Before Dark by Riley Sagar? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but this comes out on June 30th. I didn't read his last book, which I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it has that very like pink cover on it, but so many people have raved about that book, so I really want to pick it up soon. But now he's releasing this new book which sounds right up my alley. It kind of reminds me of The Haunting of Hill House a little bit. So in this, and again, I'm not very good with synopsis, so Don't take my word for any of this. But if I remember correctly, we're following this woman that when she was a child, like the house they grew up in was supposedly haunted, and her father wrote this book about it, and it became like really famous. And now I think her father has like passed away, and she has like inherited this house from her childhood, and I think she like renovates houses for a living. So she goes back to this house that she hasn't been to in years, and she plans to like renovate it and sell it. And when she gets there, weird things start happening, and I think the town kind of doesn't like her because they don't like all of the sort of bad publicity that their town has gotten because of her father's book. So it just kind of reminded me a little bit of The Haunting of Hill House, which I really loved, the TV show and the movie, not so much the book. Unpopular opinion. But so yeah, I'm pretty excited to pick this up, and I am also really excited to pick up his first work because I wish I could remember what it's called, but it sounds really good. And then the final book on my list is Horrid by Katrina Leno, and this comes out on September 15th. This is a book that I heard about, I think, from Books and Lala. I've never read from this author before. I've never even heard of this author before this book, but this book sounds super cool. And when I first added it, it didn't have like a proper synopsis. All it said was something about Agatha Christie, and I was like, I'll take it. And I think it's a horror book. I think it's YA, but they did finally add a synopsis for it. And again, I read it once and I don't plan on reading it again, but I'm going to try and conjure it in my memory. I think in this book we follow a girl, and her family, or it's her and her mom, move into like her mom's childhood home, or like her mom's grandmother's house or something like that, and it's just kind of weird. And the daughter finds this room that her mother has kept all locked up, and when she goes inside, it's like a little girl's bedroom that is supposedly like uninhabited, but it might not be as uninhabited as it seems. So that is my like poor retelling of the synopsis I may have read. So those are all the books that I am very excited for coming out in 2020. I think there were only about 8 books on here. I was pretty picky this year about the books I was really excited for because I'm trying to focus a lot on all of my backlist titles that I own, because I probably own a good 70 to 100 backlist titles that I really need to read. So I'm being very picky about the books that I am picking up new this year. So yeah, leave me a comment down below and let me know what your most anticipated release for 2020 is. Let me know if you're excited for any of the same ones that I am. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
You hear that, Samson?